We're meant to experience life with others. And sometimes it is about retreating and going off by myself. And sometimes in those moments where like I've wanted to be really intentional about it, and I've sat by myself for a while and just kind of gotten frustrated. Like I've gone and I've like walked and just been in, even if it's still outside, but like, you know, in like a certain part of Charlotte, like if it's North Davidson or South End, and even just interacting with strangers, even if it's even short, a hello, or just like looking someone in the eyes, like, yeah, I want to say like a lot of the mindfulness is when I come to understand like we're all sharing the same, like everybody's experiences are different, but we all have like certain things in common where we're experiencing like the difficulties of life and like the brokenness of life, yet we still get to experience the beauty of creation and nature and the hope of that.
Yeah.
Environmental science, like I enjoy helping my students see how connected everything is. So like we talk a lot about the food industry, and oftentimes, especially as high school students, you're not thinking about how the food that you're eating impacts the land and the air. And oftentimes, if you don't really value the land and the air, that's not going to move you.
Yeah.
But like we also get to talk about how the food you eat or the energy you use impacts other people, and obviously teaching at a Christian school, there's so many opportunities to just challenge myself and challenge the students to consider that, and and just making those connections, because again, I wouldn't know unless someone would have told me that, you know, certain ways of eating, like it's directly impacting like the quality of life of people who live near hog farms or live near in areas where all the like chemical fertilizers run off and like affect the water and the quality of the water. So and it can be daunting because there's just so many ways in which like our modern world is like we're just entrenched in it and we can't extract ourselves out of it completely. And I think that's the challenge. It feels like, well, what can we do? You know, like it is what it is. So to help students, and like it's always a good reminder for myself, like even to know if that my singular actions may not change the world or it may not fix things. It's like to take the information I know to be true and make changes, and like to help other people see it. Like I have the unique platform to help students see it, and oftentimes they get it and they're like, what do we do?
Yeah.
Being mindful of the ways in which at the time like people I knew were suffering, and I was able to kind of draw on that and think about like if fill in the blank, like at the time like my grandmother, when I was in high school, like my grandmother was fighting cancer, and I'm like, if she can suffer through this, like I can kind of harness that reality and be like, I can make it through this, and not to say like I guess when I say that, like I think sometimes we try to minimize like our difficult situation by thinking like someone else is going through something harder. So I wouldn't want it to be taken that way, whereas in the sense of I guess like when you're thinking about running and thinking about a race like that, it's like a temporary suffering that in the end, you know, you can there's gonna be an end, and that's the same with, you know, that's something we talk about cross country, like as far as life goes, like it's hard and there's a lot of difficult things, but it's a temporary suffering. One of the poems that Wendell Berry wrote that I shared with you guys in class called "The Peace of Wild Things." And there's a line in there where he writes about where he comes into nature, into like where there's all the birds and all the insects and how they don't tax their lives with the forethought of grief. Because I think for me, like, I can just worry a lot about like the future, or whether it's the immediate future or like tomorrow, or whether it's like 20 years down the road. But yeah, just like thinking about how the animals they're just in the moment, because and part of that, like, I'm like jealous of that, like they don't have really the ability to consider what's gonna happen. I'm like, dang it, I want to be like that. This is Piece of Wild Things. Take my glasses off. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time I rest in the grace of the world and am free.